طيب, let's get busy. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Bismillah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. It's cool enough. We don't need to sing all, right? Do we need to know? You said no? طيب. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين على أمور الدنيا والدين وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد خاتم النبيين وآله وصحبه أجمعين ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. طيب, today, first, we're in, what are we? What are we in today? We're in the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. We're in the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah, where the Prophet ﷺ said there's no 10 days, no days of the year that are afdal, that are better than these first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah, right? The righteous actions that a person does in them are better than these 10 days. They said not even if a person goes out to fight jihad, even if a person goes out to fight jihad, they said unless he goes out to fight jihad and he doesn't come back with his self nor his wealth. What does that mean? He was killed, shaheed. The only way you can do something better. Think about that, subhanAllah. Sometimes we don't really pay attention to the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, right? That everyone talks about they want to go do this, they want to go do this, right? The Prophet ﷺ said another hadith after Fath al-Makkah, he said, La hijrata ba'd al-Fath. He said, all that's left now is what? Al-jihad wa niyyah. That there's no hijrah, there's no migration from Mecca, that is, to anywhere else, because Mecca became a land of the Muslims. He said there's no hijrah anymore, right? From Mecca. All that's left is jihad wa niyyah. So there's two things, right? We have to understand how important that is. And sometimes, like ours, there's no jihad literally really right now, right? Where the Muslim leader, where people gather under a Muslim leader and go for jihad to make kalimatullah ulya, to make the word of Allah the most superior in the land. We don't have that situation realistically, especially not living in America, right? So what do we have? A niyyah. That if we ever were in a situation where it was permissible and, for us to have to fight for the sake of, that we would if we ever were put in that situation. But we don't have that situation right now. So we just have niyyah. The niyyah to do good and to support the deen of Allah in any way that we can. But we're not fighting. Right? So the Prophet ﷺ hinted to that in the hadith. Al-jihad or niyyah. Maybe you can't do the other one or you don't have that option. Then at least have the niyyah that if you ever were in that situation, you would do it. May Allah bless us, make it easy for us. So what's the point of me saying this, right? That the Prophet ﷺ said there is no deed more greater than jihad. Everyone, you see all the youth sometimes, oh, yeah. What are you doing during these 10 days of Dhul Hijjah? That the Prophet ﷺ said there's no deeds better than doing righteous actions during these 10 days. So these are 10 days that we need to take advantage of, inshallah. Try to do as much acts of good as you can. Give sadaqah, read Quran, fast, any of this. Make a lot of takbir, right? Make a lot of tahleel, say la ilaha illallah, Allah, say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allah. All of that is permissible and it should be done during these 10 days, inshallah ta'ala, during this month. Tayyib? So that's the first thing, a reminder that we utilize these 10 days of Dhul Hijjah to the best of our ability and we don't waste it, inshallah ta'ala, okay? Next thing is the hadith that we're in today. The hadith, it says, حدثنا إبراهيم بن حمزة قال حدثنا إبراهيم بن سعد عن صالح عن ابن شهاب عن عبيد الله بن عبد الله أن عبد الله بن عباس رضي الله عنهما أخبره قال أخبرني أبو سفيان بن حرب رضي الله عنه أن هرقل قال له سألتك هل يزيدون أم ينقصون فزعمت أنهم يزيدون وكذلك الإيمان حتى يتم وسألتك هل يرتد أحد سخطة لدينه بعد أن يدخل فيه فزعمت أن لا وكذلك الإيمان حين تخالط بشاشته القلوب لا يسخطه أحد. طيب, the hadith, it goes, and it's a longer story to it, that when the Messenger of Allah ﷺ, when he was in Medina, he started to send off to the different leaders of the world invitations to become Muslim. So Heraclius, Heraclius, yeah, but I'm trying to think of the English word. Subhanallah. So anyway, right? It's not Hercules. Hercules is somebody else. Okay. So the Prophet ﷺ sent letters to the king. So he was the king of Rome at the time, which was in Sham area. So who was in Sham at that time as well? Abu Sufyan. Abu Sufyan wasn't a Muslim at this time. Abu Sufyan was not a Muslim at this time. So Abu Sufyan was sent there, was doing some trade there. So Heraclius, he asked the question, once he received the letter, he went to ask the people about who this messenger is, inviting him to Islam. So they told him that Abu Sufyan, he asked who was the closest to him in relation, as a relative. So they found Abu Sufyan, he was from Quraysh. So they brought him, and Heraclius said, I'm going to ask you some questions about him, about this messenger, this Muhammad, right? You from them? I'm going to ask you some questions about him. But what also he did, he put some other people behind him that knew. And he said, if he lies, then you deny what he's telling us. If he lies about something I'm going to ask him, then you tell us that he lied, right? You deny what he's saying. You deny the truth of what he's saying. So from amongst the questions he asked, this hadith only gives a portion of it. So he asked him a few questions. He asked them about the Messenger of Allah. Is he a person who, from his people, his lineage, was there anyone who was a king, right, amongst his lineage? So that maybe he's just trying to get leadership back for himself, right? He asked him this question. He said no. That wasn't his situation. He didn't have kings amongst his people from before. He was trying to get his leadership back. He asked them, this is where this hadith comes in. He asked them also, did anyone become a kafir, a murtad? Did anyone be... What are you guys doing? He asked them, did anyone become a kafir, disbelieve in Islam out of discontentment, sakhata, angry, right? With the deen. Did anyone do like this after they became Muslim? He asked them, are they increasing or decreasing? Is there becoming more Muslims or less Muslims? Right? So then that's some of the questions he asked in the background information. Now we'll deal with the hadith and show the importance of this hadith in regards to Kitaabul Eemaan. And there's also a lot of benefits that we can take for our own situation from this hadith. We'll learn some things, inshallah, from our own situations in regards to this hadith. So the hadith that we have in front of us today, it starts off that Ibn Abbas, radiallahu ta'ala anhuma, he said that Abu Sufyan informed him that Heraclius asked him some questions, said to him, this is the end part, I asked you, are they increasing or decreasing? سألتك هل يزيدون أو ينقصون? Are they going up or are they going down? فزعمت أنهم يزيدون, and you claim that they're going up. They're increasing, they're not decreasing at all. وَكَذَلِكَ الْإِيمَانُ حَتَّى يَتِمْ. And he said, that's how Iman is until it becomes complete. They're going to go up. وَسَأَلْتُكَ هَلْ يَرْتَدُّ أَحَدٌ سَخْطَةً لِدِينِهِ بَعْدَ أَنْ يَدْخُلَ فِيهِ. And I asked you, did anyone become a murtad, leave Islam after they accepted Islam out of discontentment, out of anger, out of displeasure with Islam, with their religion? And you said no. And he said, وَكَذَلِكَ الْإِيمَانُ حِينَ تُخَالِطُ بَشَاشَتُهُ الْقُلُوبِ لَا يَسْخَطُهُ أَحَدًا. And that's how Iman is when it mixes, right? When it mixes with a person's heart. That's how Iman is. That the Iman, it doesn't leave. No one is able to be displeased with it once it mixes with their heart. Okay? So now, from the benefits we can take from this narration, there's a few. The first thing is that when Eemaan, no, actually the first benefit that I want to take from here is what? That the Arabs, even before Islam, they weren't liars. They were known for their truthfulness. They might be wrong. They'll do some bad stuff, right? They'll fight you, they'll kill you, they'll drink, they'll do whatever, right? But they won't lie, right? That was something that was known about them. They were truthful individuals. The car's on. Huh. This hadith number 51. Hadith number 51. Okay. So the first benefit we understand is that the muru'ah, that men, right, can't be liars. Women too, right? It's not a characteristic. Even from amongst the kuffar, it's not a praiseworthy characteristic. Being a liar is not a praiseworthy characteristic. It's not brave. Lying is a form of cowardice. That I'm afraid to tell you the truth. Then why'd you do it? Right? If you were going to be afraid to tell the truth about what you did, why'd you do it? Then you knew it was wrong. Now you lie about it. No. There shouldn't be an action that we should do that we have to lie about doing it afterwards. Right? Unless your mother or somebody makes some food and then you should be afraid. Right? They make some food and it's just not what it's supposed to be that day. And you tell them, no, it's excellent. MashaAllah, Allahu Akbar. And you know that it's not flavor, or your sister or wife or somebody, right? And you tell them, no, the food was delicious. And you're like, astaghfirullah. But alhamdulillah, we're blessed that none of our people here ever make bad food, right? They always make the best food. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Tayyib. So the next thing that comes into place, another benefit we can take from here is what? That the truth, Islam, one of its signs was that it was increasing. More people were coming to it. People weren't leaving it. People weren't leaving it. Even today, right? What do we see? Islam is increasing or decreasing? What did you say? Even when we see some people, right? They might leave Islam, right? You see one person or two people, right? You see some of these people become famous, right? That they left Islam and now they want to talk bad about Islam and this type of stuff, right? Do they really affect Islam at all? Because with every one person that leaves, we might get 10 more, 20 more, 30, 40, 50 more. It's increasing, consistently increasing, even to the extent that Islam is the fastest growing religion amongst American women. You know that? And people say sometimes, they try to figure out, they say, oh, but Islam oppresses women. But Islam is the fastest growing religion, deen, amongst women of this country. Sensible, smart women, alhamdulillah. Because they realize the honor that Islam gives to them. All right? How many times, sometimes you tell a person, say, well, listen, man, I remember, I think we were at the bank, right? And the lady was saying that, you know, she needed something. So alhamdulillah, in Islam, the woman doesn't have to work. Whoa. Yeah, that's the woman in Islam. It's her right to not have to work. Now, whether all the men take care how they should take care, it's the right of the Muslim woman not to have to work. She doesn't have to leave her house and go do anything. It's an honor, even though the women sometimes they look at it backwards and they think it's dishonor. But it's an honor to not have to go out the house and just be able to relax in the AC all day, maybe, right? Eat ice cream. I don't know what they'll do, but whatever they do. So the numbers are increasing. Islam is increasing. Islam is not decreasing, regardless of what people try to make you think or whatever they try to appear. It's not decreasing, alhamdulillah. And he said that I asked you, did anyone leave Islam because of discontentment with Islam? We learned something here, and this is the point that I really want to stress upon for us, is that for the most part, when we do see somebody who leaves Islam, It's never anything that's wrong with Islam why they left. It's never that they don't believe in Tawheed or they don't. It's always something personal that happened to them, right? Maybe they had a bad interaction with a Muslim. It's true because we're Muslims. We have problems. We Muslims, we're not the best, right? It's reality. We're struggling every day to become better, but Islam is perfect. So sometimes a person who has weaker faith, right? Weaker Eemaan, they might have a bad interaction with a Muslim and it causes them to run away. I don't want to be Muslim no more. I hate the Muslims because they had a bad interaction with a Muslim. Or they became Muslim, but Eemaan never truly came into their heart. That's something we have to really pay attention to. Nobody, as even Harako said here in the hadith, that's how Eemaan is, right? When it enters into a person's heart, it never leaves. When it mixes with a person's heart, Eemaan doesn't go away. Why? Because the truth, when the truth takes root, into your heart, it's going to stay. So one thing that we have to work on specifically, and I think what I noticed recently is that most of the people that we've had become Muslim recently were women, right? The majority of the people that we've had become Muslim were ladies. I haven't seen recently here, I'm talking about here. I haven't seen recently men coming to take shahada that much. If you guys seen it, you could correct me. That sounds right, you guys? Most of them were women. So, of course, I'm going to take my daily shot at the ladies and yell at them a little bit. I'm going to say that it's your job, right, to help the ladies when they become Muslim. But because they're not coming back after they take shahada. The problem is that we see them become Muslim, then we don't see them after that often, right? So whose fault is it? Yes, it's their fault, but we have to do more work, right? When they come, we have to try to help to make sure that, one, they don't leave because of a bad experience from one of us, right? That we don't let our bad manners, because sometimes we can be rough, right? We don't let our bad manners be the reason that they leave Islam. And we also do our best to try to help them taste the sweetness of Eemaan. Of course, that's only in the hands of Allah. But we can direct them, bring them to class so that they learn more, so that they can taste Eemaan, and hopefully Eemaan will enter into their heart. Make dua for them, right? Call them, etc. And it's difficult, but nobody leaves Islam once that Eemaan mixes into their heart. Once it mixes into the heart, people don't leave. Alhamdulillah. Do you understand? So that's a challenge, inshallah, that we have to try to work on. That we do not allow ourselves to be the reason, and two, that we do better. Can you guys do better? Right? I mean, we're suffering a little bit. We're not doing as good as we should be. So try to do better. And that's a group job. It's something that we should all be trying to do. We see somebody that's new, right? We never seen them before. We should rush over there to go give them salam. Right, Rizwan?
Yes, sir.
We should rush to give them salam. Make them feel like they're your brother from another mother, because you don't realize how weak the person is when they first become Muslim. They're at their most vulnerable point in their life. The shaitan is throwing everything at them, right? So we have to make it our business to reach out to them more, right? Make them feel so comfortable when they come to the message that they feel like the most specialist person in the world, because they are at that moment. The shaitan is giving them all his attention. We should give them all of ours, right? We should teach them, and be kind to them. And it doesn't mean that everybody goes to rush to teach them either, because everyone shouldn't teach the new Muslim. Sometimes people give them what they shouldn't have. But everyone should rush out to make them feel comfortable. Do you understand? Inshallah khair. طيب. Babu fadlu man istabara li dinihi. We're going to take this hadith and that's the last hadith we're going to take. Because then, I think it might be time for the book by that time. But also, I wanted to leave some time to do something else. Inshallah. Tayyib, it's a very famous hadith. And I believe you all should have memorized it by now, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the hadith, and I'm going to ask you who narrated it. Read the hadith. Oh, you guys have it on paper, right? That's cheating. طيب. باب فضل من استبرأ لدينه. The chapter of the one who استبرأ لدينه. استبرأ means bara means like he frees himself from blame. He seeks to keep himself clean from any blame. That's probably a good way to translate that. He seeks to keep himself clean from any tuhma, any blame, any accusations, any bad talk, right? So he doesn't do things where people are going to talk bad about him about it, right? Especially if it's, so he's not going to be the one that you see him going into the club. And then when everybody talks, oh, I saw him going to the club. It's all, why everybody talking about me? Well, you went into the club, right? It's not him. This is the chapter of the virtue of keeping your name clean, right? Keeping your deen clean. Not doing things where people are going to start talking bad about you. And then if you do those things that are like, so-so, not all the way halal, not haram, then one of two things are going to happen. Well, one thing is going to happen predominantly. You're going to start to fall into the haram. That's what this chapter is about. How to keep your name clean from those things that are not. So then we have a question here. Sometimes we fall into the haram. Sometimes we fall into the haram. SubhanAllah, may Allah forgive us, right? So we're talking about things that are not even clearly haram. What does that tell us? We got to do better. Sometimes we're places we shouldn't be, right? And then we say, why are people talking bad about me? Wasn't you at the wedding last night? That was you, right? We got you on video. Because they know they videotape them always. So you in the video, dancing around. And he said, why are they talking about? Why are they yelling? Right? Why were you standing on the corner at 12 o'clock at night? And he said, people are talking bad about you. Right? What were you doing going into the bar? I don't know if you guys, right? But still. Why are you in the car with those guys? Right? That's a problem that you younger guys have, right? That, oh, I know him. He's just, no. We all know, alhamdulillah, we're all smart individuals here, right? We all know who is who, correct? Even the girls, you know who is who, right? Why are you hanging with them? Is the question going to be. Because when we say in English, birds of a feather flock together. But the Prophet ﷺ said what? Al-maru ala dini khalili, falyanzur ahadukum man yukhalil. That the person's upon the religion of his close friend. So that each person look to see who he makes their friend. Right? They said, why are you hanging around with the guy from Brooklyn? Right? Not a good idea. Why are you hanging around with the guy that hangs on the... Seriously though, right? Why are you hanging around with the girl that's known to party? What are we going to say about you? That's a question. What are we going to say about you? Huh? That's your party girl. They say, oh, but I don't go to parties. Munira, you know you're going to get yourself in trouble. Right? You got istabrat li dinik. Right? Save your deen. You know you're going to get yourself in trouble like that. So, that's a real question. Sometimes we think, no, that's just, I grew up with them. Sometimes you have to make a choice. I grew up with some people. If you see me hanging around with some of the people I grew up with, you're going to have some things to say. You can say, whoa, you're hanging out with that. I said, well, I grew up with them. What would you say? If you see me, I'm driving down the street and I'm in the car with some guys that I grew up with. You're going to be like, well, something's not right here. So it's the same thing. The same concept, right? Just because you knew her since, she used to go to Duxie when you guys were 10, she changed, right? Since she changed, you have to save yourself from that type of individual. Same thing. We used to play soccer when we were young. This guy changed. He's not the same. I see some boys, subhanAllah, now, may Allah save them. Allah, I'm sad for them. They used to come to Duxie. Now I see them hanging out in the corners. We try to talk to them every time, but it looks so sad when you see them. Like, what happened to you? They're hanging out on the corners. Doing what? Bunch of nonsense, right? So if we see you with them, what are we going to think? Uh-oh, another one. Right? It's becoming bad. It's becoming really bad, subhanAllah. So in these times when it's becoming really bad, we have to become better. Right? Save your deen from being attacked by people saying that you're this type of person. Right? Does that make sense? So let's go into this narration, inshallah. And again, this is talking about actual halal and haram stuff. This is talking about the things that are not clearly halal and haram. The stuff I'm talking about right now are clearly haram. Right? The things I'm talking about is clearly haram, no doubt about it. Right? So what about these things that are not clearly halal and haram? We have to do even better, right? طيب, the hadith starts off حدثنا أبو نعيم حدثنا زكريا عن عامر قال سمعت النعمان بن بشير يقول سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول. First thing I want to tell you, who is Nu'man bin Bashir? Who's Nu'man bin Bashir? Who is he? He's Sahabi, of course. Of course, he's Sahabi. He's narrating a hadith from the Prophet ﷺ. I'll give you a hint. And another variation of this hadith, he said that he pointed to his ear and said, I heard, right? I heard, and this is why it's so important. He says, sami'tu. There's a reason why he says sami'tu, to make it known that he himself heard the Prophet ﷺ say that. What does that tell you about him?
He was close to him.
No. If he was close, let me give you an example. If Asma is close to you, we say Asma is close to Hamdi, right? Does Hamdi have to say, I heard Hamdi? Does Asma have to say, I heard Hamdi say? Or she can just be like, yo, Hamdi said. And everyone's going to know that she heard it directly from you, right? Does that make sense? If two people are close, everyone knows that you're going to narrate directly from them because it only makes sense that you heard it directly from them. But if you say, Sami'tu, I heard, right? What'd you say? No. They were truthful? No. Most of the times when we hear this from amongst the Sahaba, it's from the younger Sahaba that say these type of things. I heard the Prophet, to show that it's not something that they narrated from another Sahaba. Nu'man bin Bashir was 8 when the Prophet died. 8 when the Prophet died. So he's showing to everyone who came later on that I personally heard this from the Prophet ﷺ. And this is not something I narrated from somebody else. I heard this with my own ears. You understand? As it comes clearly in another variation of the hadith, that he said, he took his hand, he pointed to his ears and said, I heard it with my 2 ears. Right? So here he says, Sami'tu Rasulullah sallallahu yaqul. I heard the Prophet sallallahu saying. Right? He was 8 years old. What does that tell us? That even the young people, we should try to teach them some knowledge. Tell them a little thing that they can handle, a little bit they can bite off, hold on to, take, and they'll remember it, inshallah. Right? He said, Al-halalu bayyin wal-haramu bayyin. Okay? The haram is clear and the halal is clear. The halal is clear and the haram is clear. Somebody tell me some things that are haram. Clearly haram. No doubt about it, it's haram. Pig. Everybody knows pig is haram. Nobody doubt that? Okay. Khamr. Everybody knows khamr is haram. What else? Zina. Everybody knows zina is haram, right? No doubt about it. Anybody else? What else? Music. Everybody knows that music is haram. Alright? No doubt about it. What else? Wedding parties where the men and girl are dancing at together? Everybody knows that's haram. Right? Is there anyone that does not know that these things are haram? Literally speaking, right? That a wedding party where there's music playing and men and women are there and the women are dancing in front of the men. Does anyone doubt this to be haram? Reality speaking. No, it shouldn't be. It's clear. It's not some scholar that could come and say, no, it's halal for the lady to do baramba in front of men. No fool can say that, right? Not even a foolish person can say that. It's halal for them to do. No, it can't be said. Right or wrong? So it's clear. Makeup? Makeup maybe? Makeup's not clearly haram? Mustabihat? Bain al-nisa. Faqat. Amongst the women only is the mustabihat, right? Nobody else doubts that makeup is haram. Only they doubt it. Or some man that, subhanAllah, is fahish and wants the lady to go outside looking like that, right? But there should be no doubt amongst the women that going outside with the barrija, right? with zina, making themselves, showing their zina, is haram. Right? A man wearing his pants below his ankle, I don't care what nobody, it's haram. It's clearly haram. Shaving your beard is clearly haram. Even though some people try, right? طيب. All right, let's backtrack a little bit though, right? Even though, alhamdulillah, we do agree that, right, shaving the beard is haram, there might be some people that try to weaken this, right? Some people might try to say that wearing their pants below your ankles is not haram. So let's not include them right now, right? Because I was just paying attention to something that Sheikh had mentioned, that when they're talking about here, they're talking about something that no one except for a kafir will say that, right? Pig is halal. No Muslim on the earth will say pig is halal, right? No Muslim on the earth will say zina is halal. No Muslim on the earth will say murder is halal. These things are clear, right? Without a doubt. Except for some really deviant person. Some person that's far away from the Sunnah and Islam is the only one that can say something like that. So then he says, well, halal al-bayyin. And the halal is clear. What's halal? Tell me some things that are halal. Clearly halal. Getting married. Getting married is halal. I don't know. Getting married is halal, right? What else? What else is halal? Tell some things that are halal. What? You know, I was thinking about water. Drinking water is halal. Can anyone tell you that? No, it's haram to drink water. Huh? What'd you say? What?
So you prove it makes it haram.
What makes what haram?
Water. Someone pee on it, you can drink it. So you have to prove for it.
No, water aslan is halal. We're talking about aslan. You talk about that's no longer water anymore. Once it's mixed with, it's no longer water.
I mean, everything has proof, so.
No. You got to remember, there's a qaida, al-asl, bariha, right? Everything is what? Normally permissible, unless there's a proof to say it's haram. You use the principle the wrong way. The asl in the sharia is that everything is halal, unless there's a proof to say it's haram. Al-asl, what does they say? Al-asl, not this one, not. Just generally. Al-asl fil adat al-mana' illa bin nas. I mean, al-hil illa bin nas. That's the principle. Al-asl fil adat al-hil illa bin nas.
Al-ibah.
What?
Al-ibah.
Al-ibah.
Al-asl fi adatina al-ibah.
Al-ibah?
Al-ibah.
Al-ibah, permissible, no.
Yeah.
What about it?
Well, that's what I say, man. It's a different way to say it.
Oh, asl fil ibaha, no. No, but al-ibah, no. Jazakumullah khair. So the principle is this, right? Everything is halal. That's how the earth works, alhamdulillah. Everything is what? Halal, except there's a proof to say it's haram. Sometimes we treat it the wrong way. And that's only in acts of ibadah. Al-asl fil ibadat al-mana' illa bin nas. In acts of worship, everything is haram unless there's a proof. But when in regards to the dunya stuff, everything is halal unless you have a proof to say it's haram. See how easy our deen is, right? Our deen is easy, alhamdulillah. So, water is what? Permissible. Unless there's a proof to show it's haram. Huh? Clothing? Clothing, generally speaking, is halal unless there's a proof to specify certain clothing is haram. Right? What else? Eating. Eating is halal except a proof comes to show you what? That there's some that are haram, things you can't eat. Can't eat. So we get the point, right? Some things are clear. We don't have to have I don't have to give you a hadith for this. You don't have to give you a hadith to talk about riba being haram. I don't have to give you a hadith talking about zina being haram. Everyone knows, even the littlest children will know this, right? It's clear. Bayyin. وَبَيْنَهُمَا مُشْتَبِهَاتٌ لَا يَعْلَمُهُنَّ كَثِيرٌ مِّنَ النَّاسِ. And amongst these things, between them, are some unclear matters. Mushtabihat. The things that make you doubt. I'm not sure if it's halal or haram. And most people, لا يعلمون, no one knows it except لا يعلمون كثير من الناس. Most people don't know the reality of those issues. But now we learn, so it doesn't mean that nobody doesn't know. It just means that you might not know. Or most people don't know. But there's always someone who knows. That's why we do what? فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. If you don't know, ask the people of knowledge. Don't guess. Don't try to figure out. Don't ask Google. Or ask the people of knowledge, right? Ask those who know. There's always someone who knows. So if you have an unclear matter, right? You say, I'm not sure if makeup is haram. So what do? Ask the people of knowledge. Don't ask your friend. Right? Don't ask your friend that has the makeup, that's a makeup artist, and you say, well, I asked somebody, she's the makeup artist, and you asked her if makeup is halal? What's she going to tell you? Of course! And I got halal makeup, look. Right? It says halal on it. So she just gave her rule and, hey, subhanAllah. You want to get a funny haircut, right? Do you ask the barber who's trying to make money? Or you say, no, let me ask someone, you know, how much can I shave with my beard? Don't ask the guy that don't have no beard, right? You say, shave, can I shave my beard? He says, yeah, look at me. So there's always someone who knows the reality of the affair. You just got to know who to ask. You got to ask the people. Now here goes the question, who do you ask? Who do you ask? Has to be someone you trust. Right? Has to be someone that you trust their knowledge, right? Where it doesn't have to always be the biggest scholar in the land. Because Ahl al-Dhikr doesn't mean always that it has to be Sheikh bin Baz, Sheikh Uthaymeen. It means someone who has some experience, that knows some things. And it could be a person who's connected, the people who are connected to knowledge, right? You understand? Some people are connected to knowledge and they know their level. They know their level of things because everything is not a complex matter. You ask a person, right? You don't know for sure if urine got on you what to do. You can ask any of the basics, the beginner students, those type of questions, right? What do I do if urine got on my clothes, akramakallah? They'll tell you, you gotta wash it, right? And you have to wash it with water. Not with soap, but with water, right? Well, you see the benefit of the blessings of knowledge. I remember yesterday, a few days ago, just showing you a small benefit that we have to pay attention to, why knowledge will save you, right? The other day, I guess some young child, some urine spilled on the floor, whatever like that. And the brothers rushed to clean it up. Alhamdulillah, may Allah preserve them. They did the right thing. They wanted to clean it. But they cleaned it in an improper way. They started to clean it with soap before they used water. We know from our Sharia what? That urine has to be cleaned with water first. You have to pour water on the spot. You can't go to clean it with soap because soap is what? It's tahir, but it's not tuhur. It's clean, but it's not something that can be used as a cleaning agent by itself in our Sharia. Does that make sense? But this is something that you can ask one of the beginner students who took a basic beginning book of fiqh. You don't have to call, let me call the Grand Mufti of Somalia to ask him, how do I clean up urine on the masjid floor? They say, wow, you called all the way to Somalia for that? Seriously, right? These are things that we should be able to, easily be able to talk about and deal with and understand. I have the Grand Mufti of Somalia's phone number too, if anybody wants to call. I don't know.
You guys got the Grand Mufti?
We have not Somalia area, the Ethiopia area. If you want to call just in case you want to call him to ask him about what to do if there's water on the floor. طيب, so وبينهما مشتبهات لا يعلمهن كثير من الناس. Or لا يعلمها كثير من الناس. فمن اتقى in this narration مشبهات فمن اتقى المشبهات استبرأ لدينه وعرضه ومن وقع في الشبهات كراع يرعى حول الحمى يوشك أن يواقعه ألا وإن لكل ملك حمى ألا إن حمى الله في أرضه محارمه ألا وإن في الجسد مضغة إذا صلحت صلح الجسد كله وإذا فسد الجسد كله ألا وهي القلب. So now the last part of the hadith we go into. He says, the Prophet ﷺ, he says, Man ittaqa, whoever protects themselves, right? Saves themselves, stays away from, puts a shield up between themselves and falling inside of the gray matters. Those things that are not clearly haram, but not clearly halal either. Shaky area, right? Whoever protects himself from falling into these things is that he has protected himself. He's protected his deen from being accusations thrown at his deen and also from his own honor. So again, this goes back to what, right? As a Muslim, we should be always very particular in those things that we do so people can't talk about us, right? Especially if it's, it's not clear. People say, oh, let's say again, give you an issue that to some people might be considered a gray area. Taking from your beard, right? This is a gray area. Some, not shaving it, but taking some hairs from it, right? Like cutting it down where it's like, just a shadow, right? So now let's say tomorrow I come and my beard is like, it's not shaved. It's still beard here, but it's not as long as you know it to be, right? You say, well, people going to start saying, man, right? That's what people are going to do. It's normal human nature. They're going to talk. Oh, subhanAllah, why? Right? So he should have saved his deen and his honor so people don't have to talk about him and just stay away from it. Even though, alhamdulillah, it's clear to us that you let your beard grow and you don't touch it. But to some people, it's not clear. So if, let's say it wasn't clear to you, what should you do? You should just let it grow so that you don't, what? Let people start talking about you because people are going to talk, right? Let's say you're not sure if this jilbab you're wearing is tight or not. Not sure. You're like, I don't really know if it's tight. If I got the waist thing, the waist thing that the girls like to wear for some. If I got the waist thing on it, right? I'm not sure. So save yourself people talking about you or be yelling at you, right? Because that's what's going to happen. And just don't do it. You see how you save yourself? In those gray areas, say, I'm not fully sure if it's haram, if this is too tight. Don't do it. You save your deen. People are not going to talk about your deen now. And they're not going to talk about your honor. They're not going to say, oh, she is this type of girl now. Look at her. No, they're not going to say that. Just do the most, right? You don't have to worry about people saying, you got to be confused about if my hijab covers enough. We're the one that covers so much that you don't have to be confused, right? Is this too tight? We're the thing that you're not confused if it's tight or not. There's no gray area, no mustabi hat. You're not confused about whether or not, right? Is this haircut halal? Just don't get it, right? Just keep it even. And you don't have to worry about whether if I can take a little bit from the side or not, if this is halal or haram. That's a gray area. Some people might say yes, some people, especially if you don't have the knowledge to decipher between the two, just do what? Cut it all off or leave it. Do you see what I'm saying? Keep yourself safe. Because then people are going to talk about you. And people are going to question your deen and question your honor. Even though you and yourself, you say, well, listen, it's not clear to me. Keep yourself safe. Right? That makes sense? And again, we're not even talking about the clearly haram things. Right? You come outside with no hijab or you come outside with pants on. Right? May Allah protect us all. So, or a person says, do I really have to wear a thobe all the time when I go outside? It's gray area to some people, right? Do I got to cover my awrah like that? So protect your honor and your deen and just do it. Right? It's a gray area. So whenever you have these gray areas, you always try to do what's safer. That's the rule. If it's a gray area to you don't know, you're not certain, do what's safest. Why? Because you fall outside of the ikhtilaf of the scholars. You have some people that chase ikhtilaf. Oh, no, brother, that's the issue of ikhtilaf. What is this, man? The deen is simple. Some people chase the issues of difference of opinion amongst the scholars. They're always looking for, oh, there's a difference of opinion right here. Let me use this one opinion where one scholar on a lone island somewhere, right, said that maybe this could be this way. And you say, whoa, I have a scholar in front of me. No. He's on an island by himself over there. If his proof is not strong to show that, that's his. So you save your deen and your honor by doing what? Stay where it's safer. Always remember, that's a rule. Remember that. If you ever are confused and you don't really know what to do, take the safer opinion. Because if you take the safer opinion, what happens? You're not violating nothing. You're winning. Because even if it's wrong, or even if you could have done it and you didn't do it because you took the safer opinion, then what? You were saved from falling into that which was haram. That's how you honor that's how you save your deen from having any type of, faults in it, how you save your honor from being attacked, right? You don't really know if this person is shady. But people said some things, right? Like, I don't know. I don't really see him around the masjid. I don't really see him doing any good. Let me just stay away from it. Why? And you don't have to talk bad about the situation or a person, but it saves your deen. We have to be the type of people where we're eager to save our deen, right? Sometimes we get caught up trying to save other people's deen, but we got to save our deen first. And we save our deen by doing what? Staying away from those things that are not completely clear to us. Hey, now let's see. I want to give us a little thing here. We're going to be gone for a while, so let's see some questions. I like questions. So everyone, tell me something that's not clear to you. Either we'll tell you the answer to it to help it be clear, or we'll tell you we don't know and leave it as unclear and do what's safer. Go ahead. Let's start with you. Something that's unclear. Everyone has an unclear matter in their head. Like, I want to do this, and I'm not sure if it's really halal or haram. So what is the situation? Come on, whatever he said, say it. Let's see.
He said, can you play soccer with shorts?
Oh, subhanallah, bihamdi, subhanallah, al-azim. Man, do you guys really want that right now? That's what y'all want? Y'all want to take it there? Subhanallah. There's nothing unclear about that. Alhamdulillah. The awrah of the man is from what? The awrah of the man. Look at the girls. They want to answer this question. What's the awrah of the man? Because they said, finally, our chance to shoot back. We've been telling them not to wear those short shorts. What's the outer of the man?
The knees.
No, they wear shorts, but then they have, that tight, the skin pressure pants. Wear under. Just too tight. So does that cover the outer?
I'm going to show you guys a beautiful answer to this question. Now, I'm only going to show you this answer in this way for a reason, right? Now, you can deal with the question, and then I want you to understand why I'm showing you this answer. And everyone has to be responsible with this answer. Do you understand? I'm going to give you an answer, but I'm expecting you all to be responsible with the answer. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Okay? Tell you. So now, let's answer the question this way, because I'm going to show you a mushtabihat, issue of ikhtilaf, how people can utilize it. Now, the ruling is that the outer of the man is between his navel and his knees, right? Some of the scholars will say that the knee is not included, but the thigh area, above the knee, okay? So let's say like that, right? Like this area, that maybe the knee is not included, but above the knee. Do we understand? So even if we say that, generally speaking, when you're playing soccer, what happens? That when you're running, the shorts are like up to here, right? And your thigh is actually exposed, not just the knee. Let's say we take the that it's not even the knee. Then we even know for sure that your thigh is going to be exposed while playing soccer, correct? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Tell you. That's number one. Number two, my question is to the soccer players, does it make it difficult to play soccer with a short that's longer? Why not have a longer short? What's the harm in this game of having a longer short? Is there? It slows you down? It doesn't have to be baggy, like super baggy, because they have those longer shorts that I've seen some of the Arabs, they come like to right here. And they're not long baggy, they're like long, like pants almost. Like, you seen them before? They're like short material, but they come to like right here and they like stop here or something like that. I've seen them be used before anyway, right? I've seen them. You know what I'm talking about? They come with like short material sometimes. Yeah, something like this. You can use it, not baggy. You can run with them. It doesn't slow you down. It's a trick of the shaitan in your mind to think you need the short shorts. It's a trick of the shaitan. You don't really need them. I play basketball with long shorts. It doesn't slow me down at all. So I know it's the same thing. We play with long shorts. It doesn't slow us down. Alhamdulillah. Now, pay attention, girls, because this is important. What? You're answering the question? Oh. طيب, so you better be quiet because I'll stop telling you with my answer. You're going to miss a big benefit. So, the thing goes back again to, right? That the outer, first thing we have to establish is the outer of the man is from what? From his navel, beneath his navel, to his knees, right? For sure. So for certain that the soccer shorts that people commonly wear in soccer are not going to cover your outer. So generally, that's haram to wear a short that doesn't cover your outer. Your outer is your outer. You don't expect your sister to walk outside with her hijab off, right? To play a game, so she can go play a game, right? So how, as men, we have to do the same thing. We have to stop playing games as men. It's not okay for the man to show his outer, but the woman to not. What would you do if your sister walked outside with her hijab off? Right? It would be a big problem, correct? You would call her all types of names. Right? So why is it okay? And we got to stop as men too, as parents, we have to stop making exceptions for the boys. There's a problem that the parents do. That they make an exception, oh, it's my son, he can walk outside with his outer exposed. No, he can't. Outer is outer. It's haram to even look at the outer of somebody, another man, right? Unless through a necessity. So why do we think that it's okay for us to wear the soccer shorts when we know that's not permissible? Okay? Now, quiet. Now we come into a bigger issue. The issue of if it's permissible to wear those, what are those things called? Compression pants, right? Compression pants. Compression, whatever it's called, right? Compression shorts, right? So what I say is that we use them. I use them too sometimes when I play basketball, right? But I don't use them. My shorts, my original shorts, are long enough to cover my knees. I wear those as a backup in case I fall or something, so that do you get what I'm saying? But my original reason, my original shorts go over my knees, right? Go over almost to my calves sometimes, right? That's the preferred area that a man should have himself covered to, is to his calf. The preferred area that a man should be covered to is to his calf, right? So now again, the point goes that we wear the compression shorts as a backup, right? Just in case we fall.
And you wear like very long socks all the way, that reaches all the way here.
But it's the same thing, right? Even if it's a long sock, it's tight. Do you see my point? It shows the shape and form of your body, correct? Am I right? Now, the reason I said that you guys have to be responsible with the answer I'm going to give you is because I'm not giving you the correct answer is that the compression shorts do not count as covering. That's the correct answer. And Allah knows best, right? But now I'm going to show you how sometimes you have some unclarity. And the fiqh and the madhab of Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah ta'ala, covering is considered covering the color. You understand what I'm telling you? It's considered covering the color. Long as the color of whatever is beneath it is covered, then they say that it fulfills the obligation of what is covered, even if it's tight. Is this the correct opinion? Think about it. If that's the case, right, then the woman can wear jeans outside. Right? She can wear a tight dress and say, I'm covered. Can anyone say that that's okay? Would anyone be willing to say that that's okay? Yes or no? She wears a dress, right? And she wears hijab, and the dress is skin tight, but you can't see the color of her skin under it. Is anyone going to dare to say that's permissible? That defeats the whole purpose of hijab in reality. The hijab is so that you don't show off your body, not just the color of the skin of your body, but the whole body. But that's an opinion of the madhab. Of course, this probably was mentioned before they thought that women would wear the things that women wear today. Right? For sure, we know that Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah ta'ala was not thinking that women would go outside wearing a skin-tight outfit. It was unheard of. So he was just mentioning it as what was known as it has to be dense enough to cover. Allah knows best, right? So my point is, if you would not think that it's permissible for your sister, right? And I'm giving you an example because the Prophet ﷺ would do like this. He would bring an example home to people. When a young boy came to him and said, Ya Rasulullah, let me commit zina. What did he say to him? Would you like it for your mother? For someone to do that to your mother? He said, no, Ya Rasulullah. Would you like that for your sister? No, Ya Rasulullah. The Prophet ﷺ hit his chest. right? And alhamdulillah, the man didn't have this desire anymore. So I'm bringing you an example. Would you find it okay, right, for your sister to go outside with a skin-tight jilbab on? Her whole body to be seen, wa'iyadu billah. Would you find that okay? Would that be acceptable to you? I'm asking you. Or if she had on a short, she had on a jilbab, right? Let's play the game that you guys want to play. She had on a jilbab, or she had on a hijab, right? Like these hijabs that they wear, the long ones. And it came to right here. And from the rest of her body down, she wore leggings. Would you find that okay? Seriously. You would find a problem with that, correct? She has on leggings from the rest of herself down. That would be problematic, correct? So we have to take, if we apply the ruling, we have to take it for ourselves too. If we say that we wouldn't want our sisters to go outside with leggings on, right? With their body being our sister or our mother, right? Aunties, whatever, to go outside with leggings on, then we have to apply the same ruling to ourselves, correct? It's not permissible then for the boy to have on shorts that come half up his thigh and then have pretty much man leggings to go the rest of the way, right? That's not sufficient covering in Islam. His awrah is exposed. It's too tight. It's too tight. It shows his awrah. That makes sense? So, of course, it's real stuff. So then what do you have to do? It's haram. He says haram for him to have it like that. His awrah is exposed. So he finds longer shorts. If he feels a need that he has to play soccer that bad, he finds longer shorts. That's not even a gray area in reality. He knows his awrah is exposed. He finds longer shorts. And if he feels it's a gray area, right, because of, then he does what? He saves his deen and his honor, and he does what's best and safer. You understand? Yes, no, maybe so?
Yes, sir.
Fine. What else? What else is a mushtabih?
Can you pray with muscle shorts?
Can you pray with muscle shirt on?
Yeah.
Again, this is a good mushtabih, right? The sunnah is that what? That you should have at least your shoulders to be covered. Some scholars, they say even with a rope, right? But we know that Allah honored us by giving us clothing. The question goes, is it sufficient for you to pray with it even just being a rope? Some scholars say yes, right? So praying with a muscle shirt on in that situation would be permissible.
So what does the hadith mean? لا يصلي أحدكم ليس على عاتقه شيء.
So I just told you. The hadith says, some of the scholars say even if it's just with a rope. Has to be something. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That it has to be at least even a rope on it. What's better, of course, again, to save yourself from the khilaf, is to do what? Make sure that it's completely covered. Does that make sense? But I'm telling you that this is how some people chase the ikhtilaf and they say, oh, I can put them up. But I mean, subhanAllah, you're standing in front of Allah. Right? You're standing in front of Allah. So you be willing to stand in front of Allah with something that's really what's called what? An undershirt. Those shirts are what? Undershirts in reality, right? That's what we call them and name them as. Undershirts. So you want to stand in front of Allah with your undershirt on? Right? Would you pray in front of Allah, akramakallah, with just, your underpants on? No. Right? So you always want to try to do what? Put on more clothes. Save yourself from the khilaf. Even if it is permissible to just have it, right? At least case scenario that you can do this, right? Then you should do what? Cover more. More clothes is always better. Does it harm you to go put on another shirt to go pray in? Especially if you have it. This is talking about if you have it, right? You have another shirt. With all of us, alhamdulillah, we have shirts. Is it going to harm you to go put on another shirt to go pray in? No. So we see how we save ourselves from? We save our deen from being harmed, and we save our honor. Let's say you come into the masjid. Okay, I'll give you an example. Make it clear for you. Imagine if one day I decided to go on the minbar and give the khutbah with a wife beater on, as they say, right? They call them. That's what they call the shirt, right? What would you say? Seriously, what would you say?
It came from work.
Came from work.
I
He went crazy, right? I just came up and I had on a tank top and ma'wis. And I started to say, Assalamu alaikum, inna alhamdulillah, nahmadu wa nasta'inu wa nastaghfiruh. What would people say? Get him off the minbar, right? What happened to him? Maybe some iron or something. He went crazy, right?
Yeah, through the khamis.
Somebody just take this, and I just keep going. Right? People won't even hear the khutbah. They won't hear a word I said. Everyone will be so focused on the fact that he has on a tank top shirt and Ma'awisin is giving a khutbah right now. You said, what's wrong with that? It would just be like, it would be exactly like a joke. Nobody would take it serious. So, yeah. Huh?
Så här du det här.
Oh, not the Ma'awisin. We're talking about the tank top. All right? So, So no, you shouldn't do it. You gotta have honor for yourself. What do you have, Zubair? What do you have that Mustafa had? All right, what do you have?
What about tailoring your throw?
Tailoring your throw? What do you mean?
Like you get a fit, like you get a tailor.
Oh, a tight throw?
Not tight, but just like say you want a tailor. And some people get their clothes tailored.
Yeah, that's unclear.
Slim fit.
I don't know.
Oh, like a slim fit throw? Tight throw?
That's the only thing I can come up with. Not that.
I mean, the thobe is like, I see sometimes the guys have like these thobes on that's like, they're not loose, but they're not tight. They're like, it's not like.
That's what I'm talking
I mean, if the guy, especially the guys like really skinny, I mean, it's not gonna harm him, inshallah. Especially if you go like, even in Saudi, like that's how they wear their thobes. Like it's really like fit to their body. But the better, again, you want to be better, right? You want to wear it loose, where it doesn't show your build or whatever it is, right? You're a bodybuilder and you come in with a thobe on like this. So I got a thobe on though. No, you gotta have modesty and honor for yourself. So that's not the goal of what you're trying to do. The purpose of the thobe is to cover your body, to show less of your body, not to show your body off more and say, look at Assalamu alaikum. No, may Allah make it easy for us. Yeah, Muhammad.
Those people who work as a cashier.
That's definitely much that we have. Yes, you're right. May Allah make it easy for us, right? But we say, ask a question about people who work as cashiers. The reality is this, right? In America, there's almost no job where there's not going to be some haram. Unfortunately, right? The cashier is working at a job where he might have to swipe some people for some pigs sometimes. The cashier is working at a job where he might have to swipe some people for some beer sometimes, right? It's definitely an unclear area. And of course, it's better, using this hadith, to stay away from it. It's definitely better to stay away from it, save his deen and his honor. But the only true way to stay away from these type of jobs is to leave America. Reality, right? The only true way to save your deen and your honor in this situation when it comes to working in America is by leaving America. You're not going to find a job for the most part. There may be some specific, some jobs, even if you get a job being a teacher or imam, maybe some of the people who are paying you own grocery stores. Right? You're almost not ever going to have a situation where you are free from any blame when it comes to working in America. You got to leave them. I heard one principle, may Allah accept it, and the principle goes, if the hand differs, right? إذا اختلف اليد اختلف الحكم. That if the hand that actually does it changes, then the ruling changes also. And we hope that Allah will accept that for us. That if we're not the one that actually does it, but it might be surrounding us somehow, that Allah will bless us to not be punished for the sin. And we hope that Allah accepts it.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar.
Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. أشهد أن أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. حي على السلام. حي على السلام. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
طيب. What do you have, Hamdi? What do you have, Asma? Huh? Munira? Come on, quick. You guys are nothing? Mona, what do you have?
So I've seen these. I don't think like I want to wear them or anything. So there's these like really baggy pants that look like skirts. So like.
I think we answered this question before, right? I know what you're talking about. They call them gauchos, right? That's what they call them, right? Gauchos? They're really baggy. They look like skirts, but they're pants. Like they walk and they float like this, right? I know what you're talking about. One time, a long time ago, I answered this question and I said that. No, man. If girls wear them. Girls wear them. Girls wear. It's like a fashionable pant thing that the girls wear, where they're really, 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 really baggy. Huh? No, seriously. They're really, really baggy, and when you walk, there's no way. Like you walk, and even when you stand, it's like a skirt. You couldn't tell it wasn't a skirt unless you like kicked or something. Like, oh, it's not a pant. It's definitely a gray area, right? I wouldn't say it's haram, and I wouldn't say it's halal. I would say, generally speaking, right? This will refer back to your own culture, right? This will refer back to your own culture, in my opinion. Why? You have to pay attention in that situation how your people are going to look at you, right? If an American girl wore them, right, and she had a long hijab and she had them, nobody would say anything bad about her. But now if you wore them, they might call you acting like a boy, right? They say, oh, you got on pants like a boy. And it wouldn't be a smart idea for you at all. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So in Islam, if there's no clear ruling saying it's haram in Islam, we don't just stop there. We look at our own cultures as well. Al-urf muhkam. Your culture has a ruling in Islam. So amongst the good women amongst your culture, will they wear those type of pants? Do you get what I'm saying? If the good, not any woman, the good women are the good women amongst your culture, what would they look at those type of pants as being? Islamically saying, I couldn't say it was haram, and Allah knows best. I would say that it does have a purpose. Let's say that the woman wants to go horseback riding, which women should horseback ride too, right? Then those pants will be very purposeful in that situation. If she had on a long hijab, right? And maybe even the hijab has some cuts on the side of it or something like that, become practical. And she had on those type of pants that she was able to go horseback riding. Because can she ride a horse with a skirt on? No, because then the skirt's going to come up. But if she had those type of pants on and wanted to go horseback riding or, riding a bicycle or something like this, right? It would be practical and covering, right? Or she wanted to learn how to fight and she was like doing like some type of martial arts. The woman shouldn't wear the same martial art pants that the guy is wearing because it might be tight. She should wear those type of pants where it's very baggy. Like they have them in Aikido. Aikido, karate people, they have them wear it. It looks like a skirt where it hides their movement. Hapkido, Aikido, they have them. It's called a kama, and they wear them, and it hides their movements when they're, you can't really see what they're doing, right? So we wouldn't say it's haram. I would say that's a question that you would have to ask your parents, or if you're married, that's a question you would have to ask your husband if he was okay with it, because it's not clearly haram for sure. It's loose. There's nowhere in the Sharia that says the woman has to wear a skirt. You understand? The Sharia doesn't say that anywhere, that the woman has to wear a skirt. It doesn't say she has to wear a dress. It has to be, for the most part, a dress covers the best. For the most part, I'll give you an example. Some girls wear skirts that are not permissible. It's a skirt. It's a long skirt, but it's tight. Just because it's called a skirt doesn't mean it's permissible. You understand? And just because it's called a pant doesn't mean that it's haram. That's not how the Sharia works. Some girls, they wear skirts that are so improper and so haram that it was better if she had on pants. Seriously. It's haram. Terrible. Some of the skirts that, the people wear, and then, it's not permissible at all. If the skirt is tight, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any difference that it's called a skirt. And I can wear it as a skirt. I have a long skirt on. It's tight. No, it's not permissible. So as far as those pants, of course, it's not haram, but you got to look to what your people are going to say about you. Because, what did he say? Istabara li dinihi wa irdihi. There's two things. The deen doesn't have a problem with it, but it might harm your honor. Do you understand? There's no problem with it in the Sharia, but it might harm your honor. Is that a question or no? What is this? Huh? So why are you writing?
I don't want to be rude and say sorry.
It's the same thing. I think it might be worse. What do you have, Malik? Birthdays. Birthdays, subhanAllah. Birthdays, subhanAllah. Birthdays. Here, let's pray. Let's pray. We'll deal with rest of these things after the salah. And whatever that question was, I probably would like to know it too.
It was not a question, Mohammed.
Or comment. I like comments too.
Concerns. Comments, concerns.
Questions, comments, concerns, subscribe below. The whole deal. Fine, Rashad. Let's get ready for salah, and then we'll come and do the rest. Did you bring the drill? Did you bring the drill? Where is that, in the car?
Back here. Going back here.
Hey, can I have this? Goes it on?